Hello, guys. How are you all? And welcome to today's show. I hope you're all doing very, very, very well. Welcome, welcome. If it's the first time you're joining us, I want to say thank you. And if you've been with us before, I would like to say thank you ever, ever so much. I'm so grateful for each and every single one of us. It's so wonderful, wonderful to have you all with us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, guys, today, as you all know, we're having an evening with Nasai, and I have a very special guest with us today. Now, you've all already seen the flyers going around earlier on in the week, and look, today's a bit of a really cool one for me because I mean, John is a very special young man, and obviously every guest I have is somebody who's got some type of, you know, stands on their own. But there's a bit of a difference with John. Someone from our community. He has carved a career for himself, quite a far away from our community, but very recently, the past 5, 6, 7 years, John, who's also known as Pest, has been going back and forth to Sierra Leone and making a massive difference. Now, there's so many people in our community, whether you're a singer, you're a dancer, you're in entertainment, but we don't really have many young Sierra Leonean, or in general, many young, successful Black men from Africa who make it big in the boxing industry. Now, okay, look, we all know boxing is not necessarily one of the easiest careers to get into. And to have someone like Pest, someone like John, who is making a massive name for himself. Now, one thing about this guy is he's actually a very mature boxer. So he's not in his 20s, he's a very mature boxer. And therefore, I would believe he would come with some real energy to the sport. But before we even talk more about that, I just want to say thank you again to each and every single one of us who have been joining the show. I have to be honest, at times, when you're doing this type of shows, you tend to feel, oh my God, what do people think? How am I getting on? And I have to be honest, I have had some of this. I've probably been a very lucky vlogger. So far I've had so much success with everybody who has been part of the show. I've had wonderful advices, and I am very, very, very grateful. I would love everybody to continue to support what I'm doing, and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. Rome wasn't built in a day. Thank you to everybody who's joining us. Now, without a further ado, what I would like to do, I would like to introduce our guests for this evening. As we all know, we are having the man himself, Mr. John Hardy. Now, I would like to bring him on the show. So just give him a moment, and he will be with us any moment now. All right, guys. Wonderful.
I'm on live. I'm on live.
Hey,
Hey,
John.
what's good? How you doing? Yes,
I'm
thank you for
fine,
having
thank
me.
you.
You know what I
How
mean?
are you?
Finally got me on the show.
I'm
I'm
telling
wonderful,
you,
man.
I'm
I'm
super,
just
super excited.
I
I
feel
don't I
I
don't even know
feel
what to say. I don't even know what to say because I've been watching you on Younger TV, Ben TV, Sky TV, really doing your thing. Now, thank you so much for
thank
agreeing
you
to
so much,
today's
man.
interview. Thank you.
Oh,
John,
it's
I want
nothing,
to
man.
start.
It's
How do
nothing.
you want me to address you? Are you John or Pest?
How do you feel to address me? How you feel comfortable to address me?
I think
That's
I think
I'm
pest.
alright.
I think pest. I
Yeah.
don't know because there's something about you that oozes this kind of realist about it. And John is it's a nice name, but yeah, I think pest for today for what you're going to share with us. It's
You know
more
what? Funny enough, everyone always calls, even like my coaches, Sky Sports, like everyone, Eddie Hearn, they all say, "Yeah, pest." Like, you know what I mean? It's just something you know what I mean? They'll say John to announce, but when it's like, but just talking to me one on one, they say, "Yo, best, etc."
pest. Yes,
But yeah,
wonderful, wonderful. Now, pest. Let's just start with I wanna catalog some events or some things in your life. I mean, you've been quite vocal about your life experiences, but I want to start with a very big question. I mean, it's a massive question, but if I was to ask you, who is John?
Who is John?
Yeah.
John is a man desired to be the best version of himself. To prove that the position that he's in, he can make something out of it. He will not stop until he reaches to the top, and the top he keeps climbing. John is a man of desire, of dedication, of belief, and when the others don't believe in him, it gives him even more fuel and fire to keep on going, and he won't stop until he reaches the very, very, very top.
Wow. You've chosen some really powerful words there to describe yourself. And but there's something about you that oozes power as well. It's a massive thing. I don't know what it is. It's like you're a whole big house. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone says, "Get out," but I am the building. You know that type of thing. Let's start with your
Yeah,
early
yeah, yeah,
life
yeah.
experiences. But before you answer these questions, I'm just going to take a 1 second, and then we're going to go straight back to our first question. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm just going to add myself quickly there. So, John, I want to ask you, tell me, tell me your early life experiences. What were they like?
Early life experiences, just I grew up in the estate of New Cross, so it was just um, every day was a battle, just a battle, whether it's just battle of your words. So, it wasn't really the shit, the it to be African. So that was you're just born into a fighting struggle battle. Um, you're in a situation where it's just like you fight one another. Uh, you fight, you grow up, you start inheriting uh, you know, fighting rival gangs from other areas. Um, you, you start seeing people in good stuff, and how they got it is selling drugs, etc. And then that was we saw that as being the way forward, as achieving. Selling drugs was like achieving, was meaning that you're making it in life. So that was how life was in the early days of survival, trying to make a living, and just non-stop violence that you're seeing.
Wow. I mean, I really can resonate with some of the things you're saying. First, let's just try and open this up a little bit. You mentioned growing up in New Cross. Look, for some of our viewers who do not know where New Cross is, New Cross is in southeast of London, and as we all know,
Yeah.
Southeast has been plagued with violence from as early as the 80s, the 90s. It's been a place that has had a lot of multicultural communities resting and growing up there. What was the one thing that strikes you the most about living in the area of New Cross, Southeast, that lifestyle? What is the one thing that you really that really resonates to you?
One thing that resonates to me is that nothing good really came from there. There was nothing, it was normal to people to be beaten up, normal for someone to be stabbed, normal for someone to be in prison, normal for people to be left, seeing close people murdered. Um, it was just that was the thing that really resonated with me. The main thing that resonated me, to the point, is just nothing great came from here. Nothing good came out of it. Nothing on like a TV screen for something good came out of it, and I I swore that I'll be the difference. I won't be a statistic on the other side.
Now, John, being an African young man, a lot of our forefathers, our parents would believe you'd come to the United Kingdom for a better life, better education, better housing. How much can you really
Yeah,
relate
so
with that as a reality?
reception. Yeah, I was born here. Yeah. Wow, the reception. Sorry, the reception. I
Not to
can't hear
worry, that's
nothing.
fine.
It's
That's not a
just
problem.
like now.
So you were born in the
So
United
you're gonna have
Kingdom.
to start again because the yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
was born in
Yeah.
Southeast London. So yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you were born in the you were born here. Obviously, your parents would have brought you
yeah,
here from Africa. No, your parents would have come
yeah,
here in the UK from Africa. What was
yeah, yeah,
their
yeah.
expectation? What were their expectations of you or of this country? Is that something
Uh,
that you think the
obviously,
country has lived up to?
you know, when you have a split parents, you know, what I mean, I just grew up with my mom. You develop a brotherhood in the when you start growing up, and your brotherhood's like your friends, and you look out for each other, you help each other, you help each other make money. You know what I mean? You get into arguments, you fight, you got their back. So then your friends start becoming your family, really. So um, you know, I was always known as just the bad one of the family. You know what I mean? The one that went to prison, the one that did bad things. So when you're labeled as that, doesn't en- it doesn't encourage you. You know what I mean? It's not like positive. I never ever can remember positive words being spoken to me. Saying I can be this, or saying I can be that. Um, I can only remember just negative words, and I don't think there was really an expectation. The only expectation I would always get is they're gonna have the phone call that I'll be, you know, in the grave or something. That's when I, you know, speak to some family members now. Yes, all of them always tell me they were just waiting for that phone call to hear, you know, that I'm no longer here.
Wow. Um, Look, Pest, I was so looking forward to this interview, but I'm already getting to a very emotional state as some of the stuff you're saying. I'm feel already like I'm choking. So what I want to just say, welcome to those who are watching. I see we have Irene. Thank you for joining us. We also have Aminata Sise, Michael McKay. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Funny enough, the two people who are with one of the two people who are with us are people who have grown up in the UK, and
Okay,
you mentioning some of the things that maybe family members were expecting, that things were going to go pear-shaped for you. Do you think that family members, not necessarily maybe not necessarily your family, but African family members, can at times perpetuate a situation that young people are experiencing in this country with lack of
yeah,
understanding or lack of knowing how to
yeah.
deal with it?
When you don't feel understood, you're gonna go to where you're understood. If you're
Wow,
not
that's
understood at home, if you're not understood at home, you're gonna mix with people that understand you. No one, you're not gonna. Okay, if you don't speak, I don't know if you're in another, if you're in another country, let's say you're in Spain and there's people speaking Spanish, you're gonna mix with the people speaking, you know, English. So you're only gonna, and that's what I've, you know, as African culture, we have never had the understanding how it was. You know what I mean? And we didn't kind of understand them back. So the mixed signals, you know, didn't help at all. It's not going to help, you know. And it's a battle that's happening in many ways today. You know what I mean? So misunderstandings and miscommunication is a very important thing that needs to be addressed.
and would you think that's a fundamental thing that needs to be addressed? let's use our own community for an example, as that's where we're from. You know, we do have a lot of young Sierra Leoneans like ourselves who may not necessarily have the right advice or the right people supporting us. Can I ask you a question? How important is the family on the road to people like yourself, the road family, the people on the block, the people that you call when you're in trouble? How important is that to you?
Um, it depends on my mind frame because to now I'm not dependent. You know, what I mean, my friendship and myself are very different. But growing up, it was your everything. It's your family. You felt you had a duty to defend that, and same thing. You felt like if you're in trouble of any sorts, they're gonna help you. And I've been in situations where I've been in trouble and they've helped me, and they're in trouble and I've helped them, and it was just like that was it. That was the road family. So in a time of life, it felt very important and felt very hard to leave. When you want to leave, you feel like you're leaving them in a situation. You're lessening their strength, and in their battle in just survival day to day.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you ever so much for that. Um, did you feel that having an African background sort of did it support, did it help you in any way? Is there anything about being African? Obviously there is. We all love where we're from. But are there specific things that you feel sort of kept you grounded in the kind of lifestyle perhaps that you were leading during that time in your life?
Did that? That's a very good question because there is moments when you think this ain't an African lifestyle, if you know what I mean, that we're living. But I just felt this is a lifestyle that kind of I understood, and it understood me, and I felt it had a duty and served me, and I served it. But being of African descent, I did used to think that I'm much more. There is times I would think that I'm much more than this. I always did think there's something more to life than this. Even when I was just selling drugs to get by, it was always like I had a plan that I'm just using this to get by, to I don't know, go to boxing or pay for my studio time. It was never just to wear expensive stuff.
Okay. I mean, that idea that being from the African background sort of put that concept in your mind that they're expecting more from you. Do you think that that always resonates when you're in a situation and you feel like, do I make that decision or do I make this decision? Do those kind of upbringing, the things you were brought
Now,
up with?
but when you're in a situation, you're in a situation where things you're not promised the next day. You can go to prison the next. Like you're in a different situation, so you're not. That's not on your mind. The only time you're on your mind, maybe you go back round the family, and they ask, well, what do you do? Or what does this one do? Someone's saying what they do, and you're not talking about qualifications. You know what I mean? You can't say, yeah, I'm qualified in the streets and etc. And I know how to break down this. You know what I mean? You gotta say yes. I know how to put together a weapon. I'm qualified in from a eight ball to a half ounce. It's like that's the only time. That's the only time you're back around the family or some form of older person. You kind of do feel away, but then you don't feel comfortable there because you're misunderstood or you're judged. So and that goes both ways really in terms of that. Not saying it's you're there to blame, but you're also to blame because you're taking that's the road you've taken.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if there's some parents, just if there's some parents who get to opportunity to watch this, and they have young children who they are bringing up in these kind of communities like the southeast of London, or even North London or East London, North London, where I come from, very much pretty much the same life. So, what advice would you give these parents who perhaps their children have become more connected to the outside family, that street family, the blood, you know. What advice would you give those parents how to win back their children, how to, or perhaps even support them? Because maybe perhaps it's not always a case of winning them back. What advice would you give parents who may be having children who might be going through these kind of things you've discussed?
Okay,
Okay, it looks that we could be losing the man himself over there. And if we are, we could be losing
media,
him. He will be back with us shortly. I'm going to write
sport,
we have got him back.
football, boxing, etc. Let them be involved in that. Youth clubs, take them, find out what they're good at and what they love, and try and just make them just support them. I
Yeah,
can't imagine if when I first started going boxing when I was small, if I had that kind of um support, I don't know how further I could have been. You know what I mean? Or someone just that encouragement. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm from an era where it's just like we didn't. I don't think parents saw sports or any type of other talent things as something big. It was just about study. You know. So uh, my main advice to them would just be just find what they love and try and support them. You know, it's very hard to tell them to turn away from their friend that they see as a brotherhood and can go down the wrong way. But main thing is just to stick with them in terms of their passion, find out their passion, find what they enjoy, and just make them dedicate themselves to it.
thank you ever so much for that. Now, Pes, I want to now move on to something that I find really, really intriguing about you. You are, you're not only just the pets that John that we all know. But you are one of our biggest boxers that have ever come out of Sierra Leone. Now, moving on to this is a nice point now because you just mentioned about the advice that you would give parents if they've got young children, perhaps who are growing up in these communities, and how to engage and how to support them. You suggested that football, boxing is a good thing. It's a good idea. Now, how has boxing saved your life, or if it has, what? Where are we with this boxing? How did this all start, Pest?
Okay, boxing is first of the determination that I had for myself to get myself into the gym. Boxing kept me from smoking weed. Um, kept me from staying out late. You know what I mean? It just kept me disciplined. Boxing kept me just just focused and put me around the right set of people. Everyone that's focused. All my friends are people that are on TV. You know, they're fighting on Sky Sports. They're doing things. You know, and that's why I put myself around them. You know, I put myself around different people that were moving in a direction that were different from people that was smoking weed because that wasn't my direction. You know, so boxing's done a lot. It's opened a lot of doors, and you know, it's opened doors for things back home. It's opened doors for me here right now. So now talking.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, one thing I really, really cherish about you, Pest, is your genuine honesty. Not many people will sit on that chair today and profess that they have once upon their time perhaps smoked weed, or they've been in trouble, or they've been to jail. That freeness. Are you still with us? We're having some connection issues, but we're doing quite well. So just wait for him to join us again. I just wanted to speak with John about that element of where does he get that confidence to just come and sit here as he's done today and just be as open as possible. As I've said, so many people will never come out and say things exactly as they are. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm
We're
back.
back on the screen.
I'm back.
I
I'm
was
back.
it's okay. I was just saying something about your honesty is very, very, very powerful. What is it that can allow you to feel so free within yourself to be open? Like today, you've said some things some people would never have the guts to say. Once upon a time, I've once been in trouble with the law. Once upon a time, I wasn't necessarily the best child. I was a bit naughty. Where do you get that confidence from that you can just sit out here? Because I'm actually really amazed just at your honesty.
I never, like at first, I used to always kind of hold it back. It was hard when you come out and you're labeled as something. And I used to notice when I spoke about people look at me different. But there's a scripture that says the truth shall set you free. I stick by that. That's what I did. He just set me free. Um, Especially when I was my first Sky Sports interview or live in front of a lot of people, and Eddie Helm asked me to talk about my story. I realized it touched many people, so now I just openly do it. You know what I mean? I just openly just say it. So it's like love me. So there. Yeah, love me for I am instead of you know hate me for I'm not. And that's what I'll prefer.
Wow. I really love that saying. Love me for who I am and not for what I'm not. And think that really does sum up the kind of sincerity you have. Now, in relation to football, I mean, my bad. In relation to your boxing, how did you get into boxing? Because it's not like just going down the shop and saying, I want to be a skateboarder. I want to do roller skates. How did you get into this field?
So can you repeat that one more time? So it cut out and I didn't get to.
No problem. In relation to the boxing, how did you get into the
Yeah.
boxing industry? What was the motivation behind it? How did it all begin?
With I was always in and out of boxing before being incarcerated. I came out of prison 2015, and I was watching a lot of Olympics. Had pictures of me, boxing on the wall, like just with gloves, and a lot of people that entered my cell would say, or prison officers say you're a waste of talent. And I just said, you know what, I'm gonna just I'm gonna chase this. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna pursue it. And it just every time I was pursuing it, it just brought me around different kinds of people. It wasn't an easy journey. It was very, very, very hard. Very hard. Chasing your dream and there's no income coming in. It's very hard. And to convince everyone around you or the people that matter in your life that this is gonna work out. It takes something. It's a very hard thing, very 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 hard thing, man. And it wasn't easy at all. Remain faithful
Were
and
there, were,
just keep pushing.
did you find that you didn't, were there any African boxers, like from the African community, that were able to offer you any advice about how to come into this industry?
Like there's okay, there's been this, descendants weren't really like as a community, if you know what I mean, like how we have the actual community itself. It was just like people of descent, African descent, and um, just in the boxing, we know sometimes, uh, it can be harder, you know what I mean? But we train as hard as we can, and we just um, keep pushing to get better in this career.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, if there was a parent right now who's got a young son or a young daughter who says, Mummy, I want to do boxing, from your experience, is that something that you think it's a good industry for a parent to support their child? And if so, how can they support?
If it's your child's desires, I'll say why not. The amount of
Absolutely.
discipline you get from it, I just think, why not? They just got to commit to themselves. I've seen it a lot of these days when you see the parents bringing them to the gyms and supporting them and finding their equipment for in the gym. It's wonderful.
Wonderful, because it's such an intriguing sport that it's not. That's why I wanted to really get you on the show, just so that people can, if anyone's got any child that they would like to go into this industry. Now, thank you ever so much for that. Now, John, apart from just the boxing, I want to
Yeah.
talk about how it feels when you're in that ring. When remember, you're the same person that people have said maybe in the past you may not make. Remember, you're the same person that maybe your family members
Yeah.
think, oh, they're waiting for that call. What goes through your mind when you get on that stage and you have a moment to redeem yourself?
Can you repeat that small last bit? I'm just having
Okay.
the connection.
So what happens to you when you go on that in that ring to go for a fight? What happens mentally when you think about you're the same person they said he may not make it? You're the same one that your family members might be afraid that they might get that call. What goes through your mind when you're in that room, in that space, boxing? Oh, we had a wonderful question there for him. Wow. So we're waiting for him to come back. That's a wonderful question for him because anybody who's in the arts, whether you're in music or you're in entertainment or you're even a boxer, um, when you're at the moment where you are about to take on your challenge, let's just use an example. An example like me today. I have to come and do a show. But something happens to me before I come on this stage. And I would like, oh, we're getting him, he's coming back, he's coming. But something happens when a performer is put into a stage to do his job. And I want to know more how Mr. Hardy feels. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming back. This is a really powerful question. Right.
So
So
can you
I
get?
would like
You're
to
going.
know what happens to John Hardy when he gets into that ring to fight. When all these thoughts go through
Uh,
your mind, talk to us.
you get in that ring. Uh, you have to. It sounds crazy. You have to embrace like a darker side of you because you're in a hurt business. So So now my job is to hurt my opponent because he's coming to hurt me. You know what I mean? And my job is to do my job and the referee do his job. Um, I step in there. I visualize my hand being raised. I visualize when it gets hard and I can hear my daughter shouting my name. Um, it's a deep tunnel vision that you're in, and every punch is counting. You've gone through so much drills, but it's just like everything is just different when you're in there. Um, there's times when you get really tired, and the person
John,
keeps coming at you, and
John.
you've got yeah, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah. So I'll kind of run that back. You know, you have to embrace like a darker side, and because you're nervous, you're getting in there. The bell goes, and it's like, you know, it's time in it. Like we got to do this. Like it's me or you. Yeah. I'm, you know, this like listen. I'm willing. It sounds crazy because you're in a different world, isn't it? Like you're actually turning to like an animal. You're like, I'm willing to die in it. That's how crazy it is. Like listen, and I'm doing my job. My job is to hurt you until you feel to give up, and I gotta try to hurt you without you hurting me, and the ref will do his job. Um,
Absolutely.
you know, there's moments where you do get you get you get you can get really tired. Get you know, probably can get hit with a certain shot, or sometimes you're trying to pull off a certain punch that you've done many times in training, and it's not coming off. The bell rings, you go back to the corner, you sit down, you're taking deep breaths, but by that minute rest goes like feels like it's 10 seconds. Bam, you got to go straight back in there. You know, you got so much instructions getting shouted at you, the crowd shouting different things for you to do. Um, it's a lot, but you're just in tunnel vision, in tunnel vision, and you just
John,
visualize. Sometimes, like I said, I always visualize. Sometimes
so
my daughter
John,
shouting my name, and it gives me like another kick, another bit of energy to keep going. And
so how
and the
does the
main thing
street
is
prepare
just
you?
it's weird because how does the what?
How do the streets prepare you for the ring?
This the streets pay me. Do you mean what in now in boxing, or do you mean before?
No, no. How does the streets prepare you for the ring?
I'm kind of how does it pay me in the ring? Did you say?
No, prepare you. Prepare.
What
Technology as we know it, guys. How does it prepare you, get you ready? How does the streets, what have you learned from the streets when you're in the ring? Okay, we're having connection issues, but he's still with us, so I do apologize. Thank you, everyone who's still with us. We've just got one comment there, which is, hi Naz, thank you. A very good friend of mine. She's always with me. I love you guys. I always appreciate you guys. Without you guys, where would I be? This all you guys are always there. Hey, go ahead.
yeah, so what did you say? How does what was that question?
How does the streets prepare you for the
Oh,
ring?
streets is killer be killed mentality.
I
Streets
love it.
streets is
I
like
love it. I love it.
streets is streets is you step out, you may not come home. That's the streets, and it's the same with the ring. You know, you're fighting, and you know what? It can it could be your last fight of your life.
Absolutely. I can hear
But
them in the
you're
background.
willing to risk it. You're willing to risk it. You know, so
Okay. On a bit of a light, on a different thing now. I want to just briefly talk about some of this work you've been doing in Sierra
It does.
Leone.
It does. It does.
Now,
No, it does prepare. It does prepare you for what is this reception?
yeah, reception's not too
Hello,
good
can
for
you hear
us
me?
today.
Let me know that you can hear
Yeah,
me because you cut out.
I can hear you.
Yeah, don't worry. The devil won't win today. Don't worry. We're gonna get this
I
done.
tell you,
Yeah.
amen,
Oh, work
amen.
in Sierra Leone. Okay. Well, I'm the okay. I'm the executive of boxing there, like ambassador of boxing. So
Oh wow.
I go back. Yeah. I was made. I think I was made probably like 2 years ago or so. So um I just try my best to just give back, man. I go there, train with the guys, um, try to make them see the bigger picture. Cause some of them, how we get in how it is. Some could jealous ones, some could just see me and they get slightly jealous and want a position of mine in terms of just my status. But I bring something different in the togetherness and want them to compete at a level that can take them to another level. You know what I mean? I want I just want to change it. I know that Sierra Leone has talent and a lot can happen. And uh,
I
um,
mean,
there's a lot of work. Other than that, say that again.
I did actually watch your vlogs throughout
Oh,
your
okay,
visit over there. And I mean, look,
okay,
I know you like to be quite I don't know, incognito about this, but having a parent who is
yeah,
in such a high position, it's so refreshing
yeah,
to see somebody like you be so distant from anything political. Though you've been given this
mm,
position, rightfully so, you deserve. I would want to know what is your stance in you as a artist whose parents may be in in a high political power. What is your stance and how you interact with the country?
uh,
Because I see you're very distant from ever mentioning that your
my
father
my
is in
start my
politics.
start. Yeah, my stance on it is just I feel I don't like dividing. I'm not into dividing. Me. Okay, as a son, I still support my dad, but my thing is just the togetherness of Sierra Leone as one. Like if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Sierra Leone, there's too much fighting against each other, too much
Mhm.
splits. This party against that party. Uh, Tribalism, all of that. I am totally not into it. My main thing is you Sierra Leonean, okay, let's get this. You know what I mean? Let's make it happen. Let's in my side is still there. Okay. Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. My Sierra Leonean flag is there, and I try my best to make things happen. For the for the for the love of the country. Where's this?
Thank you so
Yeah,
much for that.
yeah. So I do everything for that.
You mentioned something very
Hello.
important. You mentioned some things I just wanted to just delve on very quickly. You mentioned about the
Yeah,
division of the nation. As we all know, there is quite a lot of divide in our communities. And one thing that tends to divide is politics. As
yeah,
a
yeah.
actual, as then go to come, political Pekin, party Pekin, how are you interacting differently? Because you're mentioning something, because I always seem to say a lot of our young people whose parents are in politics don't necessarily understand the position they are in influencing the nation's mind, who goes
Yeah.
into politics or who goes into power. What is your stance on this? Yeah, daddy's in politics, but when there's the next political campaign, are you going to be there supporting your father, or are you going to be distant, or what's your stance in political parties and being a party picking?
My thing is that okay. How long? If I ask you, because look, how long you know me and you didn't know that who my father was? No
I
one knew
know
that. I came around. No one. You see, have you noticed that? No one knew that. I didn't. And that's not like as if I'm ashamed or proud of him. It's just like I wanted to build my own name. Love me for me, and that's what I have done. You know, what I mean, I'm John Harding Jr. I'm known in the UK. Even when I've been on AYV TV, etc. All those TV channels in Sierra Leone, none of them even knew. They found out afterwards when they started putting two together. And other than that, yeah,
And
you
I
know,
actually, I
I'm in
really
support.
watched it. I watched your vlogging, and you were so
Yeah,
incognito. I don't know what I
yeah,
think. Either we call you Matrix. It's like the way you moved. You just like you were just so cool about it. And I really
yeah.
haven't come across anybody in our country that moves that way because it's unbelievable. Because you've got so many of us who would like to maybe influence the nation, and to have somebody like you maneuver in such a positive way. What is it about John that has made this decision? What is it about you that is different from the other children? Why do you think you want to do things this way?
Because if I don't want to do things different, it doesn't make a difference in life itself. You know what I mean? I believe everybody has a special gift, and I'm just here to exercise my gift. You know, you don't want to get out of body.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
so I'm here just to exercise my gift, and my gift was just being me, my unique ness, and not scared to just do it my way. I was never I grew many years without my father, and then I always knew him into politics. I always knew he was into politics, but at the same time, I still support him and always, in terms of there might be times, yeah, I follow him places as a son, as he would need me there beside him, and then uh,
Yeah,
um, and I just watch. I watch closely, as being around my father, but at the same time, I've got my own type of journey,
yeah.
and I've got my own calling, and I never saw politics as me, if you know what I mean, because um it's different in Salon. It's so different, man. You know what I mean? I used to go into a shop in Campbell and Sierra Leone, and they're talking politics, and then they bring up your dad's name. They don't even know that I'm his son. You know what I mean? And that's happened to me many times. Many times I have to turn around and say, please. I have to tell people like, can you not? You know what I mean? And it was there was a time I brought my sister, and you know what I mean, she's more English as well. She's not as close as the community as I am, and we're doing it, and someone mentions my dad's name and the president, etc. And then the first thing is like, I have to say like, please, me ain't picking, like, please, like, don't, like, slow it down, I bet.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then and like, yeah, oh, and then so my sister was like, wow, does this always happen? And I have to say, um, yeah, all the time when I go in these shops, but before I used to just keep quiet and they won't even know that I'm just sitting there just eating, and it's stressful because there's so much sides. Is it right? There's so
Where
much sides that are they
where would
coming
you
with the
like
stuff?
to see our wonderful country in 5 years' time? What would you like to bring to Sierra Leone in 5 years' time? Because we always
I want
ask what
Sierra Leone to
Sierra
be.
Leone can do for us, but the question I also say is, what can we do for Sierra Leone? You know what I mean? It's some of us, we sit here, like people like me, I always put myself first. We sit in our houses, like airs and graces, we're saying what we want, we say what doesn't work, but at the end of the day, what are we really about it? So in 5 years'
I know
time,
that.
so in 5 years' time, what would
In,
you
in
like to
five
bring to
years
Sierra
time, I
Leone?
think. I would like Ceylon to be together. I think I've spoken to a few of us, and we don't really care about that tribal stuff. You know what I mean? We don't care about red, green, etc. You know what I mean? I would like to be a holiday resort for people to come in, free from the hold that the Chinese have, and I've seen how it's treated by us. I'm not saying all Lebanese. You know what I mean? I don't want to blame it on every single one
Of
because we're all
course, of
individuals.
course.
You know what I mean? But I've seen a lot of that, and just we got the rich, one of the best minerals in the world. Why can't we be the richest island? Why can't we develop ourselves? Why does it have to be us just selling ourselves and putting ourselves in debt? And then it's just change over governments, and there's more debt, then another government's trying to get out of debt from what the previous has done, and it's just so much. Like, when would it stop? You know what I mean? And then um it's just absolutely crazy. One sec, I just need to order. Is that you? So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you ever so much. I want to say thank you to all those who are with us. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, Casada
Thank
Kichi,
you.
Mr. Daphne Pratt. She said, great job, Nasai. Thank you ever so much. We've got Philip Eldridge who's with us. Well done, Nasai. Thank you. Much appreciated. I really am grateful. What I'm going to do now, I've only got about two more questions for you. So what I'm going to do is
Yeah.
I'm gonna just take you off for a few moment, just so I can have a I'm gonna just take you
Okay.
off for a moment. I'll see you back in a minute. Okay. Right, guys. Sorry about that. Do apologize. Right, guys. Just wanted to say thank you to everybody who is joining us. Obviously, we can see our pest over there. He's a little bit busy just getting something, so I thought I'll get him off the screen, but I'll be putting him back in straight away. So there you go, guys. Again, John, someone from the Sierra Leonean community, aka Pest, who is a multi-talented boxer, rapper. Now I want to get a little bit more about this rapping. Obviously, he spoke a bit about about his about his boxing and how much boxing was very much like the family. He's back with us now. Thank you so much. Obviously, John
Hey, hi.
already about his boxing. You've told us exactly what boxing did for you. You've also spoken to us very briefly about what you would like to see more happening in Freetown, and I appreciate you for that. Now, another question I have for you is, apart from just the boxing, you are a lyricist. You
Yes, I
actually rap.
am.
I can't believe
Yes, I do.
it. Sometimes when I see your
Yeah, you can
videos
still speak
coming
some
up,
carry.
sometimes when I see your videos coming up, and I'm like, I'm thinking, no. I'm thinking
No,
to myself,
you you know
what
what?
happens to you?
It's weird. Before boxing, I was known for music, more or less like rapping, and I just capitalized on it. I just felt I'm at a stage when I came out of prison. I just thought, you know what, I'm going to just be everything I want to be. You know what I mean? There's no rules to what you can
Absolutely,
do
absolutely.
without
But
being a master of one. Yeah.
your words, you're very much a storyteller. You're very much you're telling us a story about, is it your life or is it life in general? Or it's just you.
I mix it. I like that question. I like people to have that on their mind. I like them to that question. Is it life in general? Is it mine? Or is it just me? You know what I mean? And I mix it. I mix a bit of mine in there, and then I mix it into life in general. I try to make it as real as possible.
Okay, I quite like that. And as a rapper, as a rapper, do you feel there is enough support
Do you
for
feel
young
there is enough support
for young people to achieve
for
this dream?
young
Because it's one
people
of those dreams
to
that very
achieve this
few get
dream?
to
Because
that
it's one of
place.
those dreams that very few get to that place.
So
So do you
there's
feel
not that
like
much. I think I
So
feel
do you feel like
I feel like for young rappers trying to come up, I don't think there's that support for them really. How are they meant to spend for their studio time? How are they meant to get videos, etc. It's only now that social media's come out they can probably do a TikTok or whatever.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but it's very difficult. Um, it is, especially I feel for within the community as well, man. I don't feel we support each other enough. You know what I mean? As Sierra Leone, there's too much competition. It's like, so when I went to Sierra Leone, I realized where we got it from over here. It's not just the political party and stuff there. It's embedded in a lot of Sierra Leone people. You have Independence Day, and then Oakland Road, there'll be like 6 parties doing it. Why can't we all just get together and do one big one and all make money and build the name of the city, you know? Um,
You know
so
what, John? That's a big
it's
talk
it's
that you.
crazy. It's crazy.
That's a big statement you're
That's a
making
big
over there.
statement you're making over there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a massive
It's a
statement, and to
massive
be honest
statement.
with
It
And to
is.
you,
be honest with you,
we are very
we
divided,
are
John. Now,
very
look,
divided. But
I saw you the other
I
day
saw
on
you the
Sky
other day
TV.
on
I
Sky
mean,
TV. I mean,
most people in our
most
community
people
probably
in
would
our
not even
community
know you're
probably
at
don't
the
even
stage
know
of
you're
your
at the
fame.
state of your
You
state.
know,
Mm.
I kept
You know,
saying to my
I
friends
kept
and my
saying to
boyfriend,
my
I
friends
kept
and my
saying to
boyfriend,
them,
I kept saying to them,
oh, guys, I don't
oh
want
guys,
John
I
to
don't want
cancel with me,
John to
please.
cancel
I
me,
can't get
please.
this
I can't
cancellation.
get this
This job
cancellation.
has to happen.
Job
And
has
that,
to happen.
one of the
And that,
reasons why I
one of
was
the
afraid,
reasons why I was
because
afraid,
amongst our
Mm.
because
community,
amongst that
there
community,
is a lot of
there is
sabotage
a lot of
when people are
sabotage
doing work.
when people are
So
doing
I
work.
was very
So
worried
I
that
was
because
very
it was a
worried that
high
it was
place
a high
and you were
place
Big
and
John,
you were
someone's
big
going to come
job.
back and say
Someone's
to you,
going to come back and say
you know
to you,
it's him,
come
you're
with
too
him,
big now.
too
You
big
don't need for
now.
gonna that's
No,
your
You
no.
knee.
need to put that your
You
name.
know what I mean? So
You know
where
what I
I'm up
mean?
and I'm
Yeah,
coming
Where
yeah,
and
I'm
I'm
up
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
the
coming
yeah.
and
waters. I'm telling you. So
I'm telling you. So
throughout to the last
throughout
24 hours
the
of
last
today, I was
24
on
hours of today,
tenterhooks.
I was on
But
Facebook.
what you showed me
What you
is that
showed
there's some
me
very
that
good
there's
soldiers
very good
still out there.
soldiers still out there.
Yeah, no, no. Listen, 100%, man. I was never gonna. I don't let no type of fame or etc. I remember where I came from. Not only that, I remember you from before that, but it's just, I'm here to bring something different to the whole community itself. And there's parts of it where it's like, I'll be honest, it's like, you have to kind of leave the community, to it shouldn't have to be that way, but before I branched out to go this way, had my time. I was in the community. I was about, you know what I mean. I was trying to make things happen
Yeah,
there,
Yeah.
and I saw that it's not, things ain't going nowhere, and
yeah,
I had to branch out. I had to just do it because I knew my potential, and it was in the community. It was limited.
yeah. Wonderful. And one thing I'm so happy that you because one thing I do remember, John, I remember when you had just come out, and
Mm,
it could have been so easy for you to not
yeah.
actually engage with us. Yeah, to even think about
Mm,
going to the Miss Sierra Leone events, because obviously you were close friends with Double A, going to all the different events that you had actually, you, you didn't really come much around in the community. So when you
mm.
did come around, I'm proud and very happy that you were still been with us. And I see you engaging on different posts. I see you going back and forth. And really, it's people like you that is really going to make this difference. And to see that you're very willing to be a part of the community and share your experiences and your knowledge. What would you like to see more of?
Um, I think just supporting one another, man. No, not trying to fight each other.
Yeah,
Stop it, man.
yeah,
Stop it.
yeah. What I would love to
I'm
see,
serious, man.
especially with the boxing, I would love our people to try and be brave. I mean, look, boxing is a really hard game, and there
Mm,
might be many people out there who could need with your help. If somebody wanted your advice and your support, is that available from you? Are you? If I
Of
didn't
course.
know you, John, and I went on your Facebook
Yeah.
and I said, "Hey, John, what's happening, mate? You all right, mate? Can you help me out with this and that? Will you help me out?"
Yeah. Yeah. If you listen, you come to me and say, "Listen, John, I'm trying to get into boxing. What advice do you need me, or what direction should I go, or
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? Like, I know how it is. Like I'm down to because some people look at me like, wow, you're there, and I'm like, they need to understand it didn't happen overnight. You saw me from when I came out to now. Like I just had to stay dedicated. I had
Yeah,
to just believe in something that's not in front of me.
yeah.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So you have to
Absolutely.
hope for it.
Hebrews 11. You've
You
mentioned
have,
religion a few times here.
yeah,
This seems to be an instrument in your life, John. And I
yeah.
need to touch on that a little bit because when we got Pest Superstar, is referencing the Bible not once, not twice, three times. What is the
Mm.
essence of religion in your success and how you have managed? I mean, I feel like this could easily be one of my best interviews. I'm telling you,
For
the
me,
numbers may not be high, but I've told you the energy you're coming with. This is not a simple man world. How how important is as religion be in the bedrock of Mr. Hardy?
it's been everything, man. It's got me through the hard times. Had to had to rely on his promises, man. His promises, man. He knows, he knows the paths he has for me, man, and that's for me to prosper. You know what I mean? So it's everything. It's everything, man. Without God, it wouldn't happen. I wouldn't even be in any position. I wouldn't be here talking. You know what I mean? I just think you have to have absolutely faith in Him. You have to
Yeah,
leap and jump. It says, you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you'll move a mountain. You know what I mean? And my
amen.
faith is bigger than that. My faith is bigger than a mustard seed. So imagine that, faith pleases God. So that's all I try to do, man. Just walk in faith as much as possible.
You know, it's always a case of we have, how am I going to put this? We have the so-called black sheeps. Just to let you know, I'm one of them as well.
Yeah,
We have the black sheep
but that's
who
even better.
never amounts to anything. Who
No,
people
but that's
think,
that's because
So what was that?
okay, God comes to the black sheep. He uses the black sheep.
Yeah, God uses the black sheep.
There's
Right.
scripture. There's scripture when they're asking Jesus like, why are you with the stu- the taxpayers, etc. And they
Yes,
said he said, what like a doctor? The doctor doesn't come from the people that are well, it comes from the sick.
from the sick.
Look at his
Yes.
disciples. Look at his disciples. Who does he pick? Tax collector. Like I mean,
You know what I mean?
different
The
people.
prostitutes. You know what I mean? The
So
prostitute.
the
So,
person he picked Saul, the one that was killing Christians. You know what I mean? Like he didn't. When you look at it, he doesn't come. He likes to show his power. So why do you think that's why he's with us? He likes to show that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. So why is he's with us? Like he loves to show and show us that the world is power.
absolutely. I mean, you've you've it's like, again, like I said, I do believe I'll be looking back on this interview many years from now and knowing
Mm.
how important it is to have you, our very own English boy. All right, you're Sierra Leone, I'm Sierra Leone, but pretty much they think me and you were English folks as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? We're
Yeah.
just like the English ones. So it's so refreshing to know that you were so close to God. Because as you know, our country is a very religion is its bedrock. This is
Yeah.
where what we're all about. And to see that you haven't come far away from it, what do you say to those judgmental people who think, oh, because John had a bit of trouble in the past, or because John didn't got divorced, or God knows what? What do you say about these judgmental people who clap their hands every day? You know what I mean? Say things which not really right. What do you want to say? I mean, in relation to our Sierra Leonean people, we are here to empower and to change and become better. What do you say to these
Before
people
before
who
you
are
before
doing
you take the speck of, here's what the scripture says. I didn't say it, God said it. Before you take the speck of dust out of someone else's eye, take the plank of wood out of your own eye.
Oh wow.
That's what it says. Judge and not to be judged, for that same measures shall be unto you. You know what I mean? So I just think judging, that's for the man upstairs, man. Forgive and let
Oh
go.
wow.
Like, it's such a powerful thing. See, when I started forgiving, there's probably still some people that still are hurt, you know what I mean, by, I don't know if I want to hold on to things, but just, kill it with kindness and torture them with
Yeah.
success.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how I keep it, man. That's been my fuel. Listen, I ran. Okay, this morning I ran at 4 o'clock, 4:30. Go, you can look at my social media. I'll put it there on my Instagram. 4:30. That's standardly for me. You know why it's standardly? Because it's my lifestyle. But why? Because of the bad days I went through. I still think of the bad days, or when people judge me, and I get up and I run. I get out there, and why? Because I'm trying to be the best version of myself. That's my whole competition, not just boxing. Not just music. It's just me being the best version of myself. I attack the day.
Wow. Another thing, quite recently, we are seeing that Sierra Leone is beginning to respect sport. Though it's the football to some degree, but we're
Mm.
beginning to see sports being identified as something in which um, government should put at the top of their funding priorities.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
important do you think sports is to the development of a wonderful Sierra Leone?
Sports is important. Like, people don't understand. Like, I remember I was with one small football team out there. Like, the guy, he doesn't, he's not getting paid or nothing, but he's just pushing the kids. And then I remember they were training at this army bit, and the army man said, like, he's rushing them off the pitch, like, quickly, like, because they need to do their saluting or whatever. But the way he said, I can't say how he said it in Creole, but he just said basically like, why, like, look, you're wasting his time with this football thing. Like, to say there's nothing in it. And that was hurtful. It's like, damn, you don't understand. Like, one football, okay, we look at the top ends, the Ronaldos, the Messi, they came from broken homes. And now they're getting how many millions a week? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And those small things happen, you know what I mean? Like, sports can change the whole thing. You know what I mean? Sponsorships come flying left, right, and center. Sports is a powerful thing, a very powerful thing, and
absolutely.
that's my aim with Sierra Leone. Like, I want to bring sports, but anyone that's interested or really interested, not just to do it for the sake of just the hold there. Because if I was really doing it for that, what I mean, I'll be throwing up. Oh, my dad is this, my dad is this. No, I go there to properly just do it out of the love, because I know one day I got to leave this earth. And what print did I leave on it? When I came into this world,
You're going to leave a wonderful print, a wonderful step,
yeah,
because everything you have been doing is really just been for the betterment of yourself and those around you. Your journey has been real pest, and you really have been a breath of fresh air just to know. I've got two more questions, and
hmm
this question I want to ask is about your siblings.
okay,
Okay, the reason why I want to talk about siblings because I know you were an only child by yourself.
no, I was born with, I've got sisters and brothers.
Okay, so how many of you grew up together?
Just two sisters I grew up with,
That's
but my one's in Sierra Leone. I always keep in touch with. I speak to them every other day. Today I
I would
was
like.
speaking to them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
noticed that. I see that you have a really good bond still with your family back home, almost as if your sister, that is, almost as if you've never left. How important has
yeah.
that been in grounding you?
it's important because ever since I got back in touch with them when I was very small, as much as possible, I always try to keep them because they're my blood, and though it's long distance, we try to just uplift one another, and just hearing each one another. Obviously now we've got social media, so we kind of can stay in contact through there. We we can press the like button, leave comments, etc. And it's just a beautiful thing when I see my sister comment on my things, and it's just like, yeah, it's
I
such a,
know it's a great feeling
yeah, definitely,
because
man.
we're so used to our life over here. When you sort of get accepted back home, it's such a wonderful, wonderful feeling. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, really. I mean, even those back home in free time, when you do get the opportunity to watch this video, I mean, though we are abroad and we're in the United Kingdom, some of us are so romantic about our feelings of Sierra Leone. We miss the food, we miss the club, we miss the language. Everything is just, it just makes you feel so warm. Um,
Mm.
I want to say thank you so much as we come to the end today.
Hmm.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you today because seriously,
Thank
I mean, for such a young man, you ooze radiance of confidence and sincerity.
Wow.
That is
God
very
bless
hard.
you, man. Wow. Thank you. That's touching, man. That's
It's it's
it's
it's
very
it's
touching.
it's priceless, and for you to mark my card and give me this chance, I know God is going to bless us both, and in our goals and everything that we are aiming to achieve. If I was to give you the final word, and if you wanted to say to someone, if someone said John Harding, what would you like them to remember about
So hold on. You need to repeat that one more time because I need to digest it. It was a
you?
very
Okay,
powerful question. Please,
so
go
I
on.
want
Say
to
that
leave
again.
you to say what basically to tell me how you would like people to remember you. If someone said John Harding, what words would convey you the best?
A man who believed when it wasn't possible. A man who made a difference. A man who made a change. A man that brought belief, power in the minds and hearts of people. The man that changed Sierra Leone, hearts and minds, that brought togetherness, that brought the love, that made people believe, that made people take that step towards freedom in their hearts of holding grudges, healed the splits, tribalism, healed the splits of politics. A man that never used the word can't, always used the word can. A man that made others who couldn't believe, and also believe in themselves. A man that was on a mission to be the best version of himself and was going to let nothing stop him. When one door shut for John Harding, he looked for another door to open. And when none of those doors opened, he kicked it off and opened the doors for everyone else. Um, that's the story of John Harding Jr.
Wow, I love that. We could have just made a poem there.
Yeah, it was, isn't it?
It was lovely, and they
Yeah.
they words that really were touching. And I hope, I don't hope because you were saying what you've already done. I
Thank
believe
you.
every word you've said, and
Thank
I know for
thank
sure justice will be served in your success.
thank you so much, man. That's much that I couldn't say how great that is, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure today, and I hope one day I'll be able to also return the favor. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Wow, guys. You know me, I really get quite emotional. Wow, that was Wonderful, absolutely special. For me, it was a defining moment. It means so much when I have young Sierra Leonean folks like myself who have grown up in the UK who are really trying to push for the betterment of Sierra Leone and also our betterment equally in the UK. It is a journey. It's not necessarily going to be easy. We see people like John, yeah, they make the world go round. You see people like John, they're the difference between do or die. He says he's a man that doesn't do can't. And I guess if I take everything from a guest, and I'm gonna take that from him today. The last thing I said today, I can't. I'm gonna make sure that I can. Because if John is here to be our own disciple, he's our own Moses here. That's what I'm gonna take from today's interview. I want to say thank you to each and every single one of you that has continued to support me. It hasn't been a necessarily an easy road, but I'm slowly finding my groove. Thank you so much for being with us. I've got a few comments which are there. I've got a wonderful Mr. Davies Des who says, great interview. He earlier on did mention it was echoing. I'm ever so sorry about that. Big mouth, I forget sometimes. I want to say thank you. And I look forward to our next interview who will be, I won't be telling you guys. And you guys, please do look out for John Harding's work, his music. I didn't get the chance to talk about this new documentary, which will be he has actually written himself. So I will be putting his Facebook link on here and also his Instagram link. So you guys do check him out. He's on Instagram as John Harding Jr., aka Pest. So again, you can find him on Instagram, and he is so endearing. I mean, when you're around John, you get that feeling of you're getting close, you're getting close, you know what I mean? And he didn't let me down today. And because as we did this show, I do get nervous every show. It's almost like the first time I do it. And I am grateful that everybody does stick with me through it all. I'm very, very, very grateful of you all. And I wish you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And if it was the first time you joined us, thank you so much. And I hope to see you all again. So, guys, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel where you're going to see more content like this. And very, very soon, guys, your girl's going to be going with her launch. So, we're getting there. And again, I so appreciate every single one of your comments. I take everyone's advice. I am still finding my groove. But yeah, I hope my hard work would inevitably pay off. And if there's anything more you guys would like to see me do more of, do let me know. I'm so open to, I'm not here to just do what I think and what I want. I'm really here to do what best works for me. And if that means maybe changing a plan, I'm very happy to do so. I want to say thank you, and I'm very grateful. And I will see you all in the next show. Thank you.